Good evening, ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties. This is Alex, coming at you from the underworld, and welcome back to another episode of... In the last video I did, I became so excited for Halloween, I totally forgot to mention that I hoped everyone had a happy Oktoberfest. And if you ended up celebrating Oktoberfest, I hope you had some good beer and schnitzel. And as far as myself and Kerry are concerned, we ended up just jumping into our lederhosen and we cooked this huge feast for like 3 of our friends. Which one of those, it was her birthday, so this was really a surprise party for her. And anyway, we kept our 6-foot distance and we all just remained safe, so that all turned out for the best. And I did discover, though, that when I had one beer too many and kind of became incoherent to the world, someone decided that it would be a fun idea to take some photos, which this individual, who will remain nameless, has guaranteed me that these photos will never see the light of day, so here's to hoping that he stands by his word. But anywho, before I get on to my book review, it's time to do my makeup segment. And I had explained in the last video that with each of these October videos, I'm going to have Kerry do a makeup look on me, and pretty much whatever looks the best is what I'm going to go as for Halloween. So, Kerry!
Yes?
Since the book I read has a lead character who is dressed as a skeleton, I would like for you to do my makeup as a skeleton.
Okay, I think I can do that.
All right. This is going to be one of those kind of things where we make lemonade out of lemons, ain't it?
Yeah.
Well, at least, it's not as bad as the other one, but it would be nice if I had a pumpkin, though.
Here you go.
Oh, that looks nice. Well, I guess it's time to go on and get down to this weekend's book review. So... Anyway, what I was trying to say was, this weekend I'm reviewing the timeless classic The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury, and this video is dedicated to my good friend Lisa Shin, who had requested that I review this book. So Lisa, if you're watching, I hope you feel like this video gives the book the justice it deserves, and I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. But without me rambling anymore, let's go on and get down and see what happens when you encounter the Halloween tree. The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury introduces a group of 8 friends who are ready to go trick-or-treating. However, once they gather, they discover their good friend Pipkin is nowhere to be seen. So out of concern, they go to his home and discover that he's actually feeling under the weather. And because of this, they're willing to sacrifice their night of fun to stay by his side. However, Pipkin really urges for them to go out, and he'll eventually catch up with them at this old mansion on the edge of town. And after a little debate, the boys take his advice and go to the old mansion, which this is where they encounter the eccentric old man by the name of Moundshroud. And next to the mansion is this fantastic tree that's 100 feet tall, and hanging from its every branch are these lit jack-o'-lanterns that are just hanging there like leaves. Well, as the boys in Moundshroud are speaking, they see where Pipkin arrives at a ravine nearby, but before the boys can get to him, a demon appears out of nowhere and kidnaps him, then takes him into another world. Now, it's up to the boys and their new friend Moundshroud to go through space and time to rescue Pipkin. The Halloween Tree was published in 1972. However, prior to its publication, animator Chuck Jones had requested for Ray Bradbury to write a script, which was The Halloween Tree. But after MGM fired a portion of its workers, which included Bradbury and Jones, Bradbury created a novelization of the script. And in 1993, Hanna-Barbera adapted The Halloween Tree into a Daytime Emmy Award-winning movie. Bradbury said on a panel at the San Diego Comic-Con that he grew up with a love for Halloween, and one day when he and his 4 daughters were in their basement, he painted a mural of a Halloween tree with pumpkins. And it was this painting that served the basis for one of his greatest stories. Fun facts. Here's some additional information I found out about the Halloween tree. In the 1993 adaptation of The Halloween Tree by Hanna-Barbera, not only did Bradbury write the screenplay, but he also provided the voice for the movie's narrator. Then, on Halloween 2007, Disneyland in California presented a model of the Halloween tree to be a part of its yearly Halloween decorations, which Bradbury attended the presentation of. Also, in June of 2020, Deadline broke the news that Warner Brothers is doing an adaptation of the Halloween tree, and Will Dunn has been tapped to write the script. Now that we have that covered, it's time to move on to the spoilers section of this video. And this is going to be where I reveal some information that could ruin the experience if you've never read this book before. If you wish to skip this section, just scroll down to the comments and you'll see that I have a pinned comment at the top, and within that comment is a timestamp. If you were to click on that timestamp, it will redirect you to the thoughts section of this video. Now, you only have 17 seconds to do this. So, ready, set, go! Since everyone has had the opportunity to click away, I want to talk about a few of my favorite moments, which the first one that comes to mind is when the boys in Moundshroud are building a kite that flies them away to the land where Pipkin had been taken. Now, this moment really causes me to have some mixed emotions because I really love the whimsical feel of it, but at the same time, there's a disturbing aspect as well. And what I mean by that is, the boys build the kite out of these circus posters, and within the posters are some animals that we get the idea are actually alive. And because of this, I tend to think that maybe the animals are feeling pain as they are being modified into a kite, but I try not to think about that because the whole concept of there being a vehicle that feels like it's Frankenstein's monster was really cool. Now, the second moment that I really enjoyed was when the boys in Moundshroud go to the British Isles and they encounter the Lord of the Dead who is cutting wheat. And as he's cutting the wheat, the blades of wheat fall and turn into these animals and insects, which we learn are actually the spirits of humans who have died over the last 12 months. Well, to give a little bit more insight, we see where some druids are making sacrifices and praying for these spirits so they can return to their natural form and ascend to heaven. Which I've never seen this done before, and by how Bradbury describes it, it was really just awesome. And the final moment that I truly loved was the ending of this book. And this is when the boys in Moundshroud are in Mexico, which Moundshroud ends up breaking a sugar skull, and he distributes 8 pieces amongst the boys. And this is when he explains to them that if they were to take a year from the end of their life expectancy and give it to Pip, then Pip could live again. And he explains to them in fine detail, yeah, this might not matter to you now, but when you're 75 and every day and every year matters to you, you're going to want this additional year. And without any thought, the boys are like, we want our friend back. So they sacrifice the final year of their life and they eat the sugar skull to seal the deal. Which I love this scene so very much because it shows their loyalty. And in a climate that we are currently in where there's so much separation and division and just arguments, it was really refreshing to see a scene that is just so heartfelt. So I truly love that about this book. In all honesty, I don't have anything to bitch about here because none of the characters felt cruel or evil. But I do want to compliment the characters on their bravery, especially when it came to facing their own mortality, and also their loyalty when it came down to sacrificing a year of their life for their friend to live. And for these reasons, I really feel like Bradbury presented some positive aspects for his younger readers to consider. The Halloween Tree is a perfect example of a book that can blend fact and fiction while remaining fun. And what I mean by this is Bradbury takes us on this fantastic Halloween journey while giving us a history lesson. And some of the subjects that come into play really enlighten us on how different cultures celebrated the holiday, as well as how they handled their dead. And in this book, the different cultures that come into perspective regard ancient Egypt, the British Isles, Mexico, and Paris. So I really did appreciate how we were able to gain some food for thought while still having fun. Now, theme-wise, I noticed where the main theme in this book really regarded how important it is to be loyal to your loved ones. Also, it does comment on what could happen when you're confronted with your own mortality. And I wish I could elaborate on this a little bit more, but if I did, I would give away spoilers, and also I did cover this in the spoilers section. So we're just going to move on to how I felt about the characters now, which, by the way, I love the characters in this book. Even when I was a kid and had seen the movie before I read the book, I felt connected to the characters because they were just very lifelike, and they also went through different struggles that I felt was kind of similar to my own, especially in regards to loyalty. And with the book being something that I read as an adult, I began noticing where I felt connected to Malmshroud as well, which I noticed that he's the kind of character who's creepy and weird, but also he does have a big heart to him, and it also seems like he really loves talking about Halloween and the history behind it. So for that reason, I really think he's like my spirit guide or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I was not scared by this book, and it did not creep me out. However, it was loads of fun, and I feel like every time I revisit this work, it's going to feel like I'm a kid at heart all over again. So yes, tons of fun. The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury is a fun journey into the heart of Halloween. And because of there not being anything overtly graphic within the book, I honestly feel like it's suitable for just about all ages. And if you're hoping to read something that's quick, obviously this is a good go-to book because it's not thick whatsoever. And at the end of the day, yes, I highly recommend this book to not only adults, but also young adults and even some preteens. On to the questions. My first question is, what is a horror book you would recommend that's whimsical? Load up the comments. My second question is, what is the earliest costume you remember picking out for yourself for Halloween? Personally, it was kindergarten for me, and I had picked out the costume for Beetlejuice, which I really loved Beetlejuice at this time. Like, I was just infatuated with the character, and I had all of the action figures. I had the movie. I was a fan of the cartoon, and also I think I had a few t-shirts. But yeah, I totally loved Beetlejuice, so as soon as I discovered there was a costume, that's who I had to be. So load up the comments on who you remember going as, like the first costume you ended up picking out, because I would totally love just to be able to see the diversity there. And with that said, it's time to move on to a new segment that I'm doing, which once a week I post an image on my social media and I ask for people to caption it. And the person who leaves the best caption gets a shout out in the video. So now it's time to see who I chose for this week. This week there were quite a few different captions that really made me laugh out loud, so of course it was hard to narrow it down, but the meme that I decided to go with was, when you're halfway through the makeup tutorial and the Pizza Hut delivery arrives. And this is from John Marrows via Instagram, which if you would like to hunt him down on Instagram, he's really a cool guy, so be sure to check him out. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the meme that I picked, and now that we have that out of the way, it's time to go in and close out the video, which I would like to say thank you to Lisa G and J.L. Mulvihill, which J.L. Mulvihill is a young adult fantasy author, and if you would like to check out her books are available wherever books are sold, and they are available in print, ebook, and audiobook, so be sure to check her out. And if you're wondering why I'm giving a shout out to these wonderful people, it's because they were able to contribute to my Patreon account. And if you would like to contribute as well, just go to the description section of this video and click on the link that I provided for Patreon. Once you do that, you'll see that I have 2 tiers available. One of those is $5 a month, where I give you a shout out at the end of my videos. And if you would like for me to tie a certain profession to your name, I'll do that as well. And the second option is where it's $10 a month, and you'll still receive the shout out, but I'll send you over one of my photos, which I do creepy photography on the side, and once you receive that, you can print it off, do whatever you like with it. And if you're not able to contribute, no sweat whatsoever. I just hope you continue to come back to this channel so we can have fun. And if you would like to connect with me on social media, links to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are all available in the description section as well. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell, because I have more book reviews coming in the near future. So until we see each other again, I hope you have a great week and sweet nightmares.